I wanna reflect on where the Avatar story could go, based on the existing character arcs and the main narrative direction. In this video, let's talk about the overall story and possible structure of all 5 planned films. Let's start with most fundamental element of whole Avatar story: the war and human expansion on Pandora. And in my opinion, at this point, human expansion can't be stopped. First of all, in The Way of the Water they clearly stated, Earth is dying, we need to make Pandora humanity's new home. So from that point on, it would be inconsistent to suddenly say like, nah, you know, we changed our mind, Earth is fine, we won't colonize Pandora. At this point, humanity simply has no other options. Second, at the beginning of The Way of the Water we were shown just how well prepared the humans are this time. Even if all the Na'vi clans unite, and even if Eywa herself stands against humanity and they manage to destroy the current frontier, the humans can just come back again, obliterate half the planet if they want, and build their city in this wasteland. And you know, even if people can't do this from material point of view, like they don't have enough resources for this, dramatically it will be inconsistent and weak for such a big blockbuster to show us something less than orbital bombing across the whole planet, I don't know, after the scale of invasion we saw in second movie. Third, Pandora already has valuable irreplaceable resources, unobtainium and the liquid immortality extracted from Tulkun brains. And if unobtainium theoretically can be abundant, immortality, humans just will never give up on that, no matter what. Humanity will be willing to come back again and again to Pandora, at least just to mine Amrita. And fourth, most importantly, a happy ending for the Na'vis just doesn't fit with core philosophy of the film and its political message. First and foremost, this is a story about colonialism. And in our real world, colonialism never ended well for indigenous people. So yeah, it would be nice to rewrite history, to come to a happy ending where the colonizers become good guys or simply decide not to colonize. But that would be very naive and devaluate the whole movie, so we need to come up with something more complex. This is also a movie about ecology, and again, in our real world it's obvious humanity will not stop destroying the planet and nature. Things only keep getting worse. So for Avatar to end on a note where people suddenly stop harming the environment and choose harmony, again, that would be too naive and weak. And based on that, what kind of ending might we expect for Avatar franchise? Let's imagine peaceful coexistence between humans and Na'vi on Pandora. It is the most possible option, but it could make sense under certain conditions. Maybe things on Earth are really bad, like the planet is on the edge of collapse, mass starvation and mass death are slowly creeping in, and because of that, humanity simply has no resources left to send endless ships to Pandora or to wage interplanetary war. Meanwhile, the Na'vi have fully consolidated entire planet and become nearly invincible. Plus, maybe a political shift happens on Earth, something like a global government is formed and humanity's survival becomes the top priority instead of politics or profit. Which is very unlikely, to be honest. We are more likely to destroy ourselves than to ever agree on anything. But let's say under those conditions peace is actually achieved and humans peacefully coexist on Pandora with Na'vi. But why does it still feel weak? Because, let's be honest, we know humanity. Even after 10 years of peace, we'll start a new war on Pandora from within. We'll murder their leaders and we will poison their children with COVID. Like, of course we will. I personally don't want to do it. I would put my SAHEILU in some beautiful Na'vi girl and live in peace. But of course it never gonna happen, we will just murder them. So ending the story on that kind of note feels too fairy tale-ish. But maybe that's the whole idea, that there is no real happy ending. Like, we'll reach some kind of balance and fragile harmony, demonstrating it is just possible. But how the story develops from there is left unknown. Another possible ending that have a little bit more meaning is that humanity loses interest in Pandora because Earth is saved. There are already hints online that in 5th film a delegation of Na'vi will travel to Earth, and we have two very interesting characters, Kiri and Spider. Kiri is essentially a Na'vi born from the union of a human and Ava herself. Even in the way of the water, she already has extraordinary abilities, and it's very likely that she is destined to become some kind of high shaman of Pandora. And it's possible that she's the key to saving Earth. Maybe Ava created her for that exact purpose, having access to Grey's mind and learning about the dying Earth environment. And maybe Na'vi will offer humanity a solution. Kiri with some Ava shamans will restore Earth nature, and that in turn could become the foundation for a long-term peace, because without the Na'vi magic, Ava can't survive on Earth, and without Ava, Earth nature will die again, and humanity will once again be doomed. We also have a Spider, a character who represents both worlds, Pandora and humanity, and he could become the main mediator between the two civilizations, or even the leader of the Na'vi on Earth. This ending doesn't change the humanity desire to mine Unobtainium and Amrita after a couple years when they restore Earth nature, but at least it has more sense than just peaceful fairy tale ending. Now let's go over the endings that I think are impossible. A full victory for the Na'vi seems impossible, because like I said, humanity just needs Pandora to survive, and I don't think Avatar had the guts to just condemn all of humanity to death. After all, Avatar is still kind of fairy tale, and a full victory for humanity also seems impossible, because that would directly contradict everything Avatar stands for, and would completely kill the hope moral message of the franchise. And Avatar absolutely ain't got no balls to just murder Na'vis and claim colonialism final victory. You know, just like colonialism won in reality, murdering the entire civilization that couldn't fight back. Now, when we choose our overall direction of whole Avatar franchise, some sort of peace maybe through Earth restoration, let's talk about possible story direction for 3 upcoming movies. I think Avatar 3 will not bring any big global changes, simply because we still have 3 movies to make, but I think Avatar 3 will be the darkest and most painful point for our heroes. Jake's family is already badly shaken, they've lost their home, they've lost their leadership, they lost Nitayam. Jake and Locke both carry direct guilt for his death. Neytiri is completely lost character. They are facing the return of Quaritch, and because of this there's coming a big conflict with Spider, especially for Neytiri. And humans seem to be establishing themselves on Pandora with full confidence. And on top of all that, they will face a new shock, the Fire Na'vi, who've made an alliance with humans and who no longer have a connection to Ava. I think the film will take place in the atmosphere of surrounding, isolation and near defeat. But our heroes should pull through. How exactly? The simplest option is a straightforward military victory. Jake's family unites the ocean clans, the new wind Na'vi, the forest tribes like Amaticaya, and together they defeat the forces of humanity and the Fire Na'vi. But I think it will be a little bit more complicated than that. We already have information that the Fire Na'vi became what they are because their spirit tree and homeland were destroyed in a volcanic eruption. They lost their bond with Ava, and with their ancestors they believe Ava have abandoned them, and this pain made them cruel and pushed them to seek an alliance with humans. And we have Kiri, who clearly shows a deep connection with Ava, and she might be the one capable of restoring their spirit tree, and by doing so bring the Fire Na'vis back to the good side. But our other heroes also have something to offer Fire Na'vi. Jake, originally being human, has experience integrating with Forest Na'vi, the Ocean Na'vi, and he might try to negotiate with the Fire Clan, help to relocate them to a new lance or a new clans or something. Neytiri will likely have a serious personal conflict with the Fire Na'vi, since she has a deep connection to Ava and she sees them as the traitors to Ava. But as a Na'vi, she might also understand their pain and find a connection with their female leader, and two strong female dynamics might fit fit perfectly here. Took could also serve as a bridge, making love or friends with Fire Navi or Wind Navi and helping with integration. So most likely we'll have a hybrid scenario. There will be a war with the Fire Navi, attempts at negotiation, building connections, and final symbolic events like Kiri healing their spirit tree. And in the end, the Fire Navi will fight alongside our heroes against the humans. According to my reasoning, Avatar 5 will feature a journey to Earth, the conclusion of peace. Avatar 3 will focus on the conflict between good Navis and Fire Navis plus humans. And Avatar 4 will likely bring a full-scale war. Our heroes will be uniting all of Pandora, while the humans will probably go full force. Orbital bombardments, interplanetary invasions, spaceships and space military bases around Pandora. And part 4 will likely end with a major victory for Navis. After that, as cliffhanger, our heroes like Neytiri, Kiri and Spider will travel to Earth. By the way, I don't really believe Jake will survive. I think he'll die towards the end of part 4. So our overall Avatar franchise will look like: part 1 as uplifting and heroic, part 2 was slightly declined stagnation, part 3 will be dramatic decline, part 4 will probably reach the most darkest point of full-scale war, but will also have biggest epic growth as whole Pandora is united and victorious, and part 5 will have more calm uplifting motion. I think now my structure is a little bit flawed, because I'm considering the biggest war events in 4th part, and it may make part 5 anticlimactic. But I guess part 5 has something to offer, because Navi on Earth and showing Earth in Avatar is something pretty interesting, and overall it will be the finish of 5 movies franchise. So yes, that was pretty interesting thought experiment. Please bro, write and comment what do you think about this, because I love Avatar and I love to imagine all of this stuff. So let's discuss it bro, not for clickbait, but for the love for Avatar. And right now I'll continue recording the video about Jake, Sully and Quaritch character arcs predictions. And we'll try to figure out the most interesting question for me personally. When and how will Jake die? Bye bye bro. I'm pretty sure you can't pronounce R, so saturated. Like probably you don't just have enough tongue ability to do this. Am I right bro? Alright, bye bye. I would put my SAHEILU in some beautiful Navi girl.